Okay. Now, I think it's important to begin to look at an example of what is Six Sigma. Okay, and Six Sigma is a really interesting concept, and it's used in management, it's used in production, it's certainly used many times in industry, and it's applicable everywhere. What it means is that, remember how I said that you get an A if you have four standard deviations above? Let's say your performance has to be so great that your error should be less than Six Sigma. Six Sigma tells, if you have a normal kind of a curve distribution, you realize that, it's almost like your errors have to be Six Sigma, six standard deviations beyond, which means your errors have to be in a very small part. Remember the bell curve? It goes this way. So it has to be in a very small part of, which means that your errors have to be very, very, very minuscule. And that is what is called as that is, so if your errors are within Six Sigma, that means your production is really good. It's virtually error free. Okay, and so they have Six Sigma training and production and manufacture and management in order to reduce your errors to that really small number. Now, I want to give you an example of what is called an organization in the west part of India. It's called the Dabbawala. Dabba essentially just means a box. And through the slideshow, where it'll tell you how this organization of people who are essentially uneducated, they they have some sort of an organizational system in place where they have achieved Six Sigma. And some of the biggest multinational and tech companies actually study their methodologies so that they can take these Six Sigma ideas and transfer it to their production, manufacture, to their methodologies. Okay, so let's look at that particular slideshow. This is just to give you a little bit of context. This is the standard symbol of a railway station. Okay, and this is what is called a dabbawala. Dabbawala is, dabba just means box. It's this thing, and this is a man who transports this. Okay, and I'll give you a sense of exactly what. And it is a Six Sigma organization. This symbol is, if you go to Mumbai, which is one of the best railway systems in the world, in terms of organization, you'll realize that this is how the name of the station, the railway station, is represented this way. It's a very kind of it's a very recognizable symbol, and they've used that to represent Mumbai ka Dabbawala, means the Dabbawala from Mumbai, the city. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So the Dabbawala are an extraordinary association of more than 5,000 individuals in Mumbai, okay, in the west, on the city in the west of India, and very popular, very big city, one of the biggest cities in the world. Dabba simply means lunchbox. Wala means the transporter or the convey man. So put them together, Dabbawala means a lunchbox transporter. For this situation, it alludes to a stackable tin box utilized for hot meals. So think of stackable tin boxes which can be put together, and you put all your food in there. So maybe your rice in one, your vegetables in one, a meat product in one, a side dish or pickle in one, and you can stack four boxes together, and that's basically what it means. So what is the point of this? So millions in Mumbai commute every day to earn a living. Banks, colleges, hospitals, government offices, private offices, factories, spread all. In a country where hot and freshly cooked home food is preferred for consumption, and this is changing now, carrying of a lunchbox is a big burden for a working populace, right? Because you take your food, by the time you get there, the food gets cold. Okay, you assume that there's no microwaves and things like that. But again, I said things have evolved, but the system is still in place. Its efficiency rates are also still in place. And so what would happen is somebody at home creates a meal, puts it in the right kind of boxes, and that's when the magic happens, right? So be that as it may, this issue is unbelievable in this metro city, biggest city in the world, one of the biggest, most populous cities of the world, because of the presence of a 100-year-old association of Dabbawalas. These Dabbawalas deliver lunch boxes for about 2 lakh. Now, 2 lakhs is a term in India which is the same as 200,000. So 200,000 people receive food from their spouses or somebody at home, and they receive this on time. Okay, on time. So these guys, they take the boxes. Assume that the person who's working has already gone to work, and the person at home says, "Okay, the box is ready." So these guys show up. They take your box. They get it to the person in their office. That person has the hot meal. An hour later, they make that empty lunchbox available, and these guys reverse the entire process and return the lunchbox. Okay, they carry the empty lunch boxes back to the homes of the customers. The unbelievable part is that, and this is where the Six Sigma is, right? If you have a curve and you have a standard deviation and you say, I want to multiply six times the standard deviation, on that edge of the curve where the numbers are so small, that's the error rates, right? One mistake in 16 million transactions have been consistently good at it for all the time of their operations. This is how they work. This credibility earned them a Six Sigma designation. Now, this ISO 9001 accreditation is also a kind of somebody that gives accreditation to the quality of a product, whether it's a kind of a conceptual product or a manufactured product, etc. And the ISO 9001, there's some variations on this. So, history of the Dabbawala. So here's a guy. He's got all these boxes, and he uses the railway system to do this. The Dabbawala was set up in 1890 to carry lunches from home to the offices of British administrators who would not carry their own lunches in public. Here's a guy, his name was Mahadev Havaji Pache. In 1990, started this system, started with about 100 men. In 1930, he informally attempted to unionize them. Later, a charitable trust was registered in 1956, and it was called the Nutan Mumbai Tiffin Box Suppliers Trust. The commercial arm of this trust was registered in 1968 as the Mumbai Tiffin Box Suppliers Association. So this is a bit of that evolution. The current president of the association is Raghunath something. Okay, so this is the box. So now we'll talk about the reasons for the success. So each of this box contains a lunch. This is in Mumbai, and it needs to go to a particular place. The reasons for their success again, and so now this goes into the thing of supply chain management. So this is a logistics system, right? Coding system, employees. So here's a guy, here's a railway train, he's sitting on the thing and he's got all these boxes, and we'll see how that works. Shockingly, there is no utilization of information frameworks, so no IT, none of that is being used, and no innovation for their supply chain side. No IT at all. It's purely based on a coding system. And of course, the physical ability. A thorough level of practice throughout the years has prompted the unwritten strides to take after for exact production network administration and time exactness. There are around 40,000 exchanges, that means lunchboxes being given and taken back every day. So here's how it works. So there are guys who go and collect these at homes. They take all of them and give them to an aggregation point. Okay, and they are distributed based on code as to what goes onto what railway stations to go where, which railway stations, and then they go to the different railway stations from a single place or several aggregation points, and then it goes to the offices. And then it reverses to the railway stations, goes back to the aggregation points, and the same guys who picked it up deliver it back to their houses. Dabbawalas use bicycles or go on foot to every household. The waiting time to collect a lunchbox is 2 minutes. So you can't just say, well, give me 10 minutes, my food is not hot, right? Because that defeats the whole purpose. So the food has to be ready. This guy will not wait for longer than 2 minutes. He's going to pick it up. Every Dabbawala, so you go at 8 o'clock in the morning, you have to get to the collection point at 9:30 a.m. From these collection points, they assemble at the nearest railway station, which is the aggregation point. The next mode of transport is the trains, where the carriers containing lunchboxes are transported to the destination. From every destination station, the dabbas are carried by hand over carts, bicycles, and carriers to the destination where they are given a specific number. From these zones, the lunchboxes are carried to the offices or workplaces. They get there by lunchtime. Then they reverse the process. There is no slack. It's always everything has to be bang, 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 accurate. Okay? Traffic jams, pedestrians, delays in train signals do not stop the functioning. They wear that trademark white cap that you saw in the picture. By these Dabbawalas are known to everyone, including the police, who do not interfere in the process. Okay. Now, what you see here are the codes. These are the codes. They know exactly where it's going to be picked up and where it's going to be dropped off. Okay. So, for example, here's a code. It tells you where it's going to be picked up, what's the aggregation point, and where it's going to be delivered. So, we'll see. Coding system is meticulously followed in order to avoid any mistakes involving interchange of lunch boxes, that is, wrong tiffin box getting to the wrong customer. So that you see the code there. BVI is Borivali, which is a suburb in Mumbai. This denotes residential station. RC14 tells you where the code, okay, the code is different for each customer. So RC means this is the name of an apartment building, 14th floor. E code for Dabbawala at destination charge, which means E code is for Nariman Point at Churchgate. Nariman Point is really downtown Mumbai. It's a place full of skyscrapers. And Jan is the name of the customer. Jan is the name of the customer. Okay, Raheja Chambers 14. And then you go aggregation point, Borivali station, and then from there it goes to Nariman Point. And all of these have just codes written in indelible ink. Here's the typical hat. This is what he carries. Now it's gotten a little more sophisticated, so you see people have these thermal insulations around their boxes and things like that. All the employees at Dabbawallas are stakeholders in this organization. This is a source of their motivation. Most of the employees, again, remember I told you there was no utilization of IT or computer systems or Excel spreadsheets or databases or any of this. Most of the employees are illiterate and the rest are school dropouts. All they have to know is how to understand the codes and understand where to pick up the lunchbox, what the aggregation site is, what railway station it has to go to, and where it has to be delivered. And one person does not have to know it all. One person just has a very fixed time, go pick it up, bring it to the aggregation point. Then the distribution occurs from there. They are given a basic idea about writing alphabets and numbers, and that's all they need to know. Every Dabbawala takes about 3 hours for completing his assignment and has to cover 60 or 70 kilometers on foot, carts, cycles, and carriers combined. Alcohol consumption is avoided during work hours. The employee's monthly salary is about 6,000 rupees per month. Living wage, it's about $100 in today's dollar to rupee conversion rate. And again, you see, this is the guy who's going to carry it. He's got the thing on his head so it doesn't hurt his head. So these guys will kind of clean and jerk it, and then this guy will get underneath it about here, and he'll be able to carry it. So basically, it's head load carrying, and this is a railway station. Okay, and there are in these railway stations, most of these are for passengers, but there's some places without seats, etc., which can actually fit. That's kind of the luggage compartment. Organization turnabout is 36 crores, so it's about I would say about $30 million. Uninterrupted on-time service delivered even in occasions of bad weather and transportation traffic problems. Dabbawallas know the area very well, and you can use shortcuts to save time. The lunch boxes change hands 6 times when you go back and forth, and there is no error. During work hours, they do not take a break. They do not use modern technology. There are no disputes between employees, no union. The unique organization Six Sigma designation 99.99%. That's 6 Sigma, right? So you're on that edge of that bell curve. Cost of service 450 rupees a month, standard price, no matter how rich you are, how poor you are. Customer satisfaction is 100%. Complete trust. One Dabbawala feeds all, share my dabba, and this is a really cool thing. So what they have done is somebody has done some really cool thing. They have actually of charity. So what they have done is they have worked with charity organizations. If somebody doesn't eat their food, they have a special mark on it. So if that food is not eaten or parts of it are uneaten, as long as they're not kind of touched or the food is not sullied in any way, they are brought to this collection point. At this collection point, they are then distributed. The food, the uneaten food, the untouched food is then distributed to charity. So, there's an incredible. So recently they came up with the news again, this time with the web, as a key to a new idea for helping to feed. So a private charity called the Happy Life Welfare Society realized that Dabbawala could represent an opportunity to get food to those in need. You see, a certain amount of food they deliver is never eaten or barely touched. This is good food. 16 tons per day was going into the garbage, while the street children of Mumbai were literally starving to death. They contacted the South Mumbai arm of the Dabbawala organization, who immediately expressed their willingness to help. The solution they developed together is simple, inexpensive, and does not risk delaying the Dabbawala's schedule or their record of on-time delivery. and it gives the people of Mumbai a personal way to fight poverty in the city. Anyone who doesn't want all the food in their lunch can simply place a sticker saying share. The Dabbawala picks up the tiffins after lunch as usual, takes them back to a central redistribution location. Here, volunteers meet them, quickly separate the boxes with share stickers, remove the food to give to the children, and then they quickly repack the tiffins so the Dabbawala can get them back to the customers on schedule. Less than 15 minutes, so little added time, but not enough time to affect the supply chain process, right? Okay, so that's basically it. And so you're basically one of the, for example, Republic Day, January 26th parade, you have about the celebration of the armed forces, and you have all these floats about culture and things like that. You see, this is a float about the Dabbawalas. Okay. This is a very terrific organization. Again, some of the biggest tech companies with all the accoutrements, all the tech and the databases and things like that are studying a system which is essentially run by people who do not have any education. Okay, so it's a fantastic thing, and I think if there's any example of a Six Sigma organization, this is really a cool one.